Oh boy, another brisk spring. Now, I ain't gonna claim it's winter. It's just, I think every season I forget how chilly it can be after getting 70 degrees. And I love showing this though. So beautiful out here. Absolutely beautiful out here. But, 38 degrees and a little brisk with the wind. I'm gonna wait for just a moment here. I bet if you had to guess, if you've seen my videos before, you've been following along. I've been going on for now a week and a half of 2 videos. Start off with 1, then I went to 2 videos a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. What would you guess my state of mind right now? How am I feeling based on my videos and based on, if you know me personally from my encounters with you in town or as a nurse? How would you, good morning, Gabe. Thanks for joining, brother. How would you guess is my state of mind right now? You don't have to answer, but just think about this. How do you think, right? This positive, upbeat guy probably has life together. He went through a difficult spot in the winter. This is what he told us with his opening video a week and a half ago. But doing well, right? Well, I want to tell you this morning that is not always the case. And this morning is a prime example, right? I'm going to keep a smile on my face, and I am going to use the willpower I have to continue to be encouraging and continue to push through because I want to. This is the direction I want my life to go. But I woke up this morning several times throughout the night, terrible sleep, emotional because of the lack of sleep. My back started hurting through the night, so I had to stretch it out. And again, this morning, I have a history of back problems due to roofing throughout the years, had my own construction business. And so what I'm trying to say is I've got a lot to complain about. I've got a lot of problems. I wrote down this morning 10 things that I could think of off the top of my mind that are issues that need to be dealt with, things that need to be taken care of. And I felt so heavy and depressed this morning. So once I pinpointed that I was feeling negative emotion, I decided to discover what it is that's making me feel so terrible this morning. Why do I feel depression? Why do I feel this heaviness on me? I know some tricks of the trade. I know some human psychology, so I started working the tools. So I wrote down what it was that was causing me stress right away this morning. What is causing me pain? And what I'm referring to is a tool in psychology called the emotional triad. Picture in your mind a triangle. In the middle of that triangle is the word emotion. Okay? So the center of what we're talking about in the middle of that triangle is emotions. And each one of those triangle points, there's 3 of them, it's a triad. Each one of those points on that triangle correlate to emotion. So what I'm talking about here is how to control your emotions. One of the points on that triangle is thoughts, right? So this morning I wake up and I don't feel well. I feel exhausted. I feel in pain in my body. And I feel, because of the exhaustion, I feel depression, right? Or feel bad. So right away, where are my thoughts going to go, right? If my thoughts go unchecked, what's going to happen? They're going to play in the background. Those thoughts are. So right away, I write these down. What is it that I'm thinking? Whether positive or negative, write them down. So that they're no longer on autopilot in the background. Now I can put them in order. Okay, these are things I can't control. These are things I can control. If I can control them, when do I take care of them? Do I need to take care of them right now? Can I take care of these later? So I'm able to categorize all of them. So it takes it out of my head and onto paper where I can actualize it. So that's thoughts. Your thoughts will create an emotion on their own. But when your thoughts are coupled with another point on the triangle, talk, now you can create an emotion even easier or stronger. You have more power to create an emotion. And so I find myself talking right away to myself, encouraging myself. I got this. I can do this. Whether that's people around me or just start with just talking to myself. You got this, Rob. You're on track. Keep pushing through. You don't have to have, just because you wake up feeling a certain way does not mean it needs to dictate the rest of your life. Maybe you guys know people like this, or maybe you are this person, but you consider yourself an asshole, right? I'm just an asshole. That's just who I am. I'm rude to people sometimes. I shoot straight. Is that really how you or that person that you know, is that really how they are? Or is it just an emotion and they've decided that that's who they're going to identify as? Because there's nothing wrong with somebody shooting straight and telling the truth. Does that make them an asshole? No. But maybe people have labeled them an asshole, and so they believe in their mind that that's who they are and they identify that way. Now they've become that. You see where I'm going with this? And I'll touch a little more on that. I'm going a little off topic, but these videos are about being raw, and I want to be raw with you. When I woke up, I was in a bad mood, and I'm still dealing with it right now, but I'm getting it under control because I'm using the tools I'm teaching you. I'm applying these in my life. So it's not all rainbows and butterflies for me either. I woke up this morning and started tearing up because it was so heavy. And I'm like, I'm not going to stay in this emotional state. It's not helpful. It's not going to benefit me. So let me figure out a solution to why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. So that emotional triad, right? We've got talk and we've got thoughts. You couple those together and you can create an emotion. One on their own will create an emotional state. Two is even more powerful. The third one, motion. Motion equals emotion, right? So how do you carry yourself? How do I carry myself? You know what I'm doing? Shoulders back, head high, pick up the pace. It's time to move. Because if I don't feel it, I'm going to make myself feel it. I'm going to feel the power of the movement. I'm going to feel powerful. I'm going to lift my head. I'm going to be confident, and I'm going to encourage myself that I am going to get through this negative emotion. So here I go. Just movement alone already starts creating a change in my psychology. Okay? Now, take all three of these, take that motion, take those thoughts, and take the way that you talk, and you can change an emotion instantly just by doing those three things. I guarantee you, it's a psychological tool. So it's not just some, great idea. It works. It's how we work. So all that to say, because I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, but I needed to be raw with you this morning and tell you, I'm like you. I'm like everybody else. I've got these positive videos I've been putting out. I still struggle. And I woke up this morning And I had to shed a tear because I felt sad. I felt depression. I felt pain. But I'm not going to stay there. I'm absolutely not going to stay there. You know why? Because I've been down this road before. I'm a human, just like everyone else. And I have the willpower and the tools and the knowledge and the excitement, the encouragement to move forward out of this position and move into something more positive, more uplifting, more beneficial, because I don't have time in my life right now to feel those things and go back to a dark place or a heavy place. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying that that is bad to feel these things and to go through this, but there's a time and a place, and I'm taking the necessary steps of writing things down of what needs to get taken care of and how to address certain problems so that all day today, they're not running in the background of my mind as thoughts. I don't feel great. I got all this to do. It's overwhelming. I'm full of anxiety, frustration. Then you start thinking, well, maybe I'm not good enough. It just is a spiral if you let it keep going. And so as soon as you recognize that, you put a stop to it and you change it. Because whether you believe it or not, you have the power to change it. Coupled with the tools that I'm helping you. If you watch all of the videos, there's enough tools in there to get you started and to help you to address these things in your life. Good morning, Gabe, Cindy, Aaron, Brian. I see you guys all in the comments section. Thanks for joining me and watching. I appreciate you guys. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to get on to my topic about money. But I just thought that it was important for me to be raw with you. I woke up this morning thinking that I wouldn't do a live because of the way I felt and the lack of sleep and the pain and then the mental, the thoughts going on. But nope, not today. Today's going to be a good day because I'm going to make it happen. And I'm going to get that stuff taken care of, and the emotion's going to change. Just like that. Can turn unproductivity into productivity. That's the plan. Now, the topic of today is wealthy anticipate and the poor react. So, when I woke up this morning and felt the way I did, I anticipated that it was going to be an uphill battle to start with. I knew I was going to be going uphill. I knew I was going to face some challenges, but I anticipated those challenges. I know they happen because we're humans. There's always going to be bad days and bad moods. If you know Carrie and I, you may never have seen us in a bad mood before. There's a reason for that. We have designed our own lives. Remember, we're the boats. We're in the boats going down the river of life. We've learned to take control of our life to a certain extent. That we're not going to be let down by our emotions or by our feelings or by circumstances. We can feel that. But Carrie and I are not going to allow that to play in the background of our mind to where we're not successful people or we're not able to help anybody else. Hey, Dad, welcome. Hi, Sierra. Welcome, guys. I appreciate you watching. But what we have are... Oh, thank you, Sierra. That is so sweet of you. I appreciate that. We're blessed to have you, too. We're very lucky to have you, too. You guys are awesome. I love all of you. But we we have decided that we are going to be, we need to be a light in a life, right? We've got to be positive, not just for ourselves, but we need to be positive for the people that we affect in our lives too. And so as hard as it can be, and even though in the background you can maybe be having a bad day or having emotional difficulty or going through shit that people may not even know about, it doesn't have to affect you completely. You can take control. So, the wealthy anticipate, the poor just react. And that's a life lesson that can go through with money, with behavior, with relationships. Keep that in mind. I'm going to switch a little bit of gears now that I went on that little raw rant of what I'm dealing with this morning, but how I'm choosing to switch it. I want to talk about money. So, of course, the anticipation, knowing what's coming ahead, right? Knowing that you've got bills to pay, knowing that you've got financial responsibilities. That's all part of anticipation. And so when you anticipate that, you plan for it, right? Well, the poor mentality does not plan for that. It does not anticipate that. And so that kind of mindset, and keep in mind that when I'm talking about wealthy and poor, I'm not talking about your actual physical state or your financial state. I'm talking about a mentality. I'm talking about your belief system. So, anticipation, knowing what to expect and what might come your way, versus not planning and not being prepared, will take you down a road of always having to react and problem solve on the fly rather than be ready for that problem that arises. Number one, these are a bit simple, but it needs to be said, budgeting, right? I talked about this a little bit on the live before. Budgeting is one of the most powerful things you can do with finances, because if you don't know what's going out or what's coming in, you might as well anticipate problems, because life keeps moving along. Problems will pop up and arise. Uncertainty will arise. And so it's important to be able to plan for those. And if you don't know your financial situation, sorry, I keep switching this. The sun keeps chasing me down. Feels a lot better here. Out there it was pretty windy and cold. So it's important to know what's coming in and what's going out. That's a budget. And keep in mind, you don't need to be perfect with your budgeting. You just need to be aware so that you can anticipate planning. One of the ways for budgeting for me when I first started was the envelope system. And what I did is I had certain bills that I put in envelopes in envelopes that are labeled, and then you cash your check, you get cash, and then you put your money in that envelope. Then you might have transportation, whether that's your vehicles, car note, fuel, all of that, you put that in there, and you get the idea. But you put in entertainment. So when you open up your envelope system for the month or for the week, and you look and see that you don't have enough money to cover that entertainment, then you just might have to go without, or you have excess, and then you can decide to split that up however you want. So that's the envelope system. There's also the 50, 30, 20. That's a type of budgeting, and what that is 50% of your income goes to housing, transportation, insurances. 30% goes towards eating out, shopping, traveling, the wants in life. And then 20% goes towards debt and towards savings. And so in that scenario, you would want to balance out how much debt you've taken on versus how much you're putting away for savings. Because if you're full of debt, then it's going to be hard to save. And obviously savings is one of the keys to financial freedom, because eventually you want to use that money. Instead of working for money, you want your money to work for money. So instead of trading time for money, you start trading money for money. Debt and savings, 20% with that plan. Debt, understanding debt. The difference between revolving credit and non-revolving credit. So revolving credit would be a credit card where you can put purchases on there. You can get great rewards. For quite a while, I played the game with credit cards where I got all the sign-on bonuses and got all the benefits of those credit cards, built up my credit score in the meantime, and was able to capitalize on all those bonuses. I can't remember the name of that. It was kind of like a hack, you know. You just take advantage of what all those companies have to offer. They're giving it to you. And made a lot of money that way, and was a lot of fun. You get points for certain things you can spend on. You can kind of live kind of cool for a little bit. Some things have kind of changed with that, so it's not as lucrative as it once was. And then there's non-revolving debt, which are your loans, right? The money that you have taken out from a bank that you need for whatever reason or another. So understanding debt, how it works. Debt is one of those things that actually is, I think, misinterpreted by a lot of people, especially, I'm not going to pick on any certain particular group, but there's certain Christianity group has really taken debt out of perspective, and, you know, debt is bad. And, the truth is that debt can be bad, but debt can also be one of the greatest ways to make money, right? Because if you want to buy a house, let's say I want to buy a rental property, right? Rather than pay for it all in cash, I can get a bank note, and instead of tying up all my cash so I can't make any other deals, I can get a bank note for, let's say, a couple years ago it was 3% interest. So I could buy a house for 3% interest, and in the meantime, I could make 25% interest or 25% off of that investment. So rent coming in, I could make 25%. So in essence, I'm paying 20, so I'm gaining. So after I pay the bank their 3%, and I'm getting that 25, take the difference of those, and so I'm making 22% on an investment. So wealth can make you money. Debt can make you money. It's all on how you see it. Hey, Jason, welcome. Appreciate you watching. And so that brings me into kind of my last point with net worth. Net worth is when all is said and done, you take what you own versus what you owe. You take the difference, and you'll find out what your net worth is. Okay, and if it's in the negative, you got to work that out. You do not want to be in the negative with your net worth. If it's really non-existent, start working forward. Start moving forward to get that put into the positive. And where I'm at in life, my net worth has become positive. If I pay off all my debt and I'm left with what I own or my equity on my real estate or all of my things, I'm at a positive net worth, and that's where you want to be. That's kind of the basics of some money talk. I think the last thing I wanted to say is if you don't define yourself, or you don't define money, if you don't give a definition to something, it's going to define you, okay? So in other words, you look at money, and if you don't define what money is for you, it's going to let you know what it is in your life. So it's better to anticipate and think forward about what money can do for you and what money means to you and how it can help you, to define it before it does define you. Aaron, I've heard 50, 25, 25. You know, Aaron, there's a lot of them out there that are different. You can follow whichever one you want. They change based on people's preferences, because not everybody's the same. You know, you can't just take a cookie cutter and stamp out the same thing for everyone. So you're absolutely right. It can change. And that's kind of a simple one. You can actually go a lot more, you can go a lot more into it and break it down quite a bit more. Mine, my envelope system was broken down into, you know, probably 15 different parts. And so that worked. So whatever works for you. Sierra, you said your thoughts. Talking point. I learned the 4 finance languages. I'm going to stop for this one. Look at all this. Wow. Talk about engagement here. Thank you, Sierra. Security. People feel like they want to pay their bills and have enough money to stay secure. Status. Work hard for your money. So you want lifestyle to reflect that by having a nice car, updating a house, etc. Enjoyment. Work hard, play hard. Control. My thoughts on that. That's well said. I like that. There's so many things to break down in that. I love how they put the 6 basic human needs in there, right? Safety and security. Safety and security is one of the most important things that we can have in life for our needs, because without safety and security, you feel unsafe, right? You feel unsecure. And so that can cause a whole host of problems, anxiety, depression, heaviness, you know, it can create negative emotions. And so that is very important. Let me try to see. You know what, Sierra, I think this is what I'm going to do, because I'm walking with this and talking. I think what I'm going to do is I want to look through that, and I want to use that for tonight for my live. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. You're a very wise woman. I want to break that down a little bit and look at that and talk about that on live. So awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all the engagement here. I think that about covers it here. I've made my trip around. After I hang up here on live, I'm going to do a little more cardio. I'm going to start jogging and running, and then going home and eating a good breakfast, and then working out. So all of these things, because it's changing my unhealthy routines. It's a snowball effect, right? We make choices in our life. If they're good choices, they can keep compounding. If they're bad choices, those can keep compounding. So the idea is that one good choice makes another good choice, and you stay with that momentum, right? So you get that snowball started. It's a little bit of work, but once you get it pushing and moving down the hill, the momentum will keep it going. And so that's the point of everything I'm doing and everything I'm teaching, is that momentum. So keep it rolling, keep it going. I'm not stopping anytime soon, but I'm also anticipating problems, like this morning with my feeling in a bad mood and already having to deal with problems and issues. But I'm not going to let that define me. I'm not going to let it slow my momentum. And so that's what I'm doing. And I can honestly tell you right now, just as this interaction with you guys, and writing the things down that are problems that I need to address. Now the movement, the way I'm thinking, the way I'm talking, it's all that emotional triad, that triangle. That emotion comes from each one of those points. Talk, motion, and thoughts. You put all those together and you create an emotion. And so I choose today to create positive emotions. That way I can have positive interactions, and that way I can affect people for the greater good. Great system to have, because then everybody makes everybody feel good and work together and get along and be able to solve problems ultimately. So, that being said, hi Thea, welcome to the live. I appreciate you. I'm just getting ready to shut it down, but you can go back and watch. But that's about all I've got. Sierra says, bye Sierra. Let's see the breakfast when you get home. Absolutely, sure. That's one of the things I want to do too, is diet and exercise, diet, nutrition. I want to do all of that as well. I want to incorporate that into my lives, and And Sierra, I'd love to do a collab with you sometime. I don't want to put you on the spot here. But and I think I asked you permission last time. You studied dietetics for 4 years. She has her bachelor's degree, and so I'd love to have her knowledge on the podcast and talk about how that can improve your life and your well-being with diet and exercise. So, with that being said, as always, I love you guys. Thanks for joining me on this. You've put a smile on my face, and I appreciate you. I hope that I did the same for you today. And hey, whatever you're going through, it's temporary. Keep on keeping on. You got this. We got this. They're just obstacles. You'll push through them. Bye, guys.